All right, let's get started here. Quick mic check. Let me know if you can hear me, guys, and we'll get started right away. Yeah, I think sound is coming through. I believe it is. Okay, guys, welcome to the trading room. My name is Saul. Glad to be with you. Thanks for joining. Before we get started, anything I say here is not meant to be a buy or sell signal or trading or investment recommendation. It's just the way I read the markets and I approach the markets and I approach the fundamentals. And so just make sure you're responsible for your own trading. Don't follow along my activity. Okay, that's it. Okay, as always on Monday today, this week I'm going to be with you today and tomorrow. So on Mondays we usually go through the news, the calendar, the dollar index, and then we'll go to the charts. If we see an opportunity, then we'll go ahead and trade together. And if not, tomorrow we'll have just that, the opportunity to sit here and just make some pure trading. So with that, let me share my screen. I want to start with the calendar, just review important news so we're aware of those, and then we'll go to the charts to find long-term opportunities. Okay, so today we already have some news in Europe and UK. Later on we have the PMI in the US. Tomorrow, quiet day tomorrow. Then Wednesday, okay, be aware of the inflation, the CPI in Australia. We're going to see how is that reflected on the charts on the Aussie, and then of course the expectations to raise interest rate in Canada. That should be already priced in the charts. We'll have a look at that. And Thursday we got press conference. This might be some choppy. Main refinance rate in Europe. Okay, that should increase. Japan is interesting story. We'll go ahead and look at the charts. They're going to levels they don't want to be, and we'll see some reactions on their charts and GDP on the CAD. So we have an active, okay, a very full of high impact events along the week. So make sure you know when are those, and be prepared, for those events in terms of risk management. Remember, there might be slippage and might be a lot of volatility, and your analysis might break down, okay, when these events make an important movement in the market. So just be aware of those. If we go to trading view, I want to start with the dollar index. We've spoke about the strong dollar and the implication of that, and my reading of the market and the attempt to make a turn in the dollar, not wanting to keep as strong as it is right now, and we see the attempts, okay, and increasing of course the inflation in the US, and how there's more expectation of increasing interest rates, and that strengthens more the dollar. But once the inflation is calms down a little bit, I think we'll start to see the turn in the US. If we see the inflation, okay, the Thomson Reuters commodity index, we see prices start going very sharply up, and now they have kind of calmed down. Okay, but if we wanted to trade this chart, okay, we are on an accumulation period, and we need to see, is this going to break up or is this going to break down? Okay, so we're not in a holding time, but at least the sharp movement up and the increase in prices in the US of products and services has calmed down a little bit. Okay, so which is good news. Now let's go to the charts to see what can we do with all this with all these talks. Okay, and we go to the daily charts, and of course my preferred one is the Euro USD. We go the daily chart, and we got the downtrend. Okay, we all see the downtrend. We discussed the fact that last week we finally formed a higher low. Okay, we formed this low, which is higher than this one, but in order to this to be a true reversal in the trend, okay, a trend direction now, or to start a leg higher, we need to break this high. Okay, because in that would be the time when we have a higher low, but we also have a higher high. Okay, reversal. Until that happens, we're just kind of forming a triangle. Okay, we have all this trend resistance, and we have that. So we're forming a wedge or a triangle. What direction is this going to break? No idea. This can be a pattern that can be a continuation pattern or a reversal pattern. Okay, I'm more inclined to the bullish side, okay, of this market. But of course, the way we're approaching, okay, the supply area, which I already have marked here. Okay, we have the blue lines. So these blue lines are a resistance on the dailies. We're reacting to that, and we're also forming like a let me clean this a little bit. We're forming like a compression. Okay, the way we're approaching this supply area, we have a supply area right up there. I was expecting after this day back here, and probably after Friday, which was a very bullish day, to have continuation and attempt to break this supply area. The fact that we're approaching kind of in this channel, on this compression, makes me hesitate and makes me wonder that probably if we continue in that way, in that channel towards the supply area, we'll have a reaction to the downside. So on a perfect scenario, or ideal scenario, I would prefer to see this kind of movement after that day there. Okay, so more a sharply up movement towards the supply area, and not this channel that we're forming. Let's see if we can see it better. Okay, so we see the bullish day. Friday we see the bullish reaction. So those are demand areas. Okay, any pullback towards that area, the bias is there, but it's not following through towards the major supply area, which is up there. So I would really like to see the market take off and pick some momentum to the upside, and to confirm my bias, which is the bullish side of the market. So that's like the long-term view. Do be aware that if we continue in that channel to this supply area, most likely we'll see a reaction to the downside, and will not be able to break this high, this previous high, and we'll get stuck in that range, okay, in a sideways market for a period of time until we have any fundamentals to break that pattern. Okay, that similar reading, we can see it in all markets. The movement, okay, the reaction in the pound was a bit better. Okay, the pound performed better than the euro. We see of course, the V shape we've discussed. So the pullback, and we had like a more clear attempt to break the highs. We failed doing that. I was certain after Friday. Let's go see Friday. Crazy day on Friday. So I was really expecting after that day and forming this new demand, we would have today or last night when market opened, continuation. The continuation might come. We might be just waiting for more good area of demand for buyers to be active and eventually break and continue to the upside. But I really was expecting after today, after Friday closing, the way it closed, to have some continuation to the upside. So in this scenario, we're pushing more to the high levels. Okay, we wouldn't have that. Okay, we're kind of pushing there, which is more a bullish signals. Okay, in this scenario, buyers are willing to buy at a higher level each time. So so they all sell at the same level, but buyers are coming into the market earlier, okay, or a higher level. So we're pushing and putting a lot of pressure towards those levels there, and during this week we could see a break of those levels. Of course, anything could happen, but my view is a little bit bullish. I'm really waiting for that turn in the market. I want to show you. We spoke last week about Aussie and New Zealand being weaker. We don't have that V shape, okay, or we don't have like this turn, okay, and the higher low, okay. We don't have that higher low in the Aussie nor in the Kiwi, okay. We haven't formed that, so this is more a bearish market. But I want to show you, of course, dollar yen. We had a huge reaction on Friday. Those kind of movements, guys, you know, where you just drop, I think it was 500 pips or nearly 600 pips. Those are banks, okay. Usually when we speak of the different institutions that can move the market that way, usually those kind of movements are bank driven. So it's a clear attempt of stopping this run higher. If we go to the monthlies or to the weeklies even, let's try to I don't have more data here. Let's try to find it here. Dollar yen. Let's go to the weeklies. Let's okay, so we reacted this time to those levels, and we have some more levels, okay. We have that and that, okay. So there will be levels, okay. There's clear supply back there. So on attempts to go higher, we'll see institutions and banks trying to push the market lower, but the trend is still bullish, okay. I wouldn't I would try to wait for pullbacks, and I'm still bullish biased. We saw a similar kind of like this one back here, okay, an attempt to turn the market, and that failed, and we continue higher. So there will be another attempt right now. We might make the turn, but that turn, I think it's going to be similar to this one, a pullback, and then more people will want to join the bullish trend. So until we don't see a trend reversal pattern, something like a Quasimodo or something like that, I'm still bullish bias, although we have these kind of interventions, okay. So we understand Japan is not happy with this situation. There's banks trying to make a turn or stop the uptrend, but buyers will continue coming. Not a lot happening in the stock market. Again, once there's a turn in the US, people will start going back into the US stocks. I think, you know, the most relevant markets and relevant stocks, and people want to be involved in there. They're kind of expensive right now because dollar is very, very strong against other currencies. But once we make a turn in the US dollar against other currencies, money from abroad will go back to the US market and will strengthen the S&P, for example, or the US stocks. Let me see if I can get okay, gold, fundamentally I try to be long, but I identify it's not a good time to be long. Again, once we see the turn in the US, I think we'll start seeing more people going into the commodities as well, and we'll see the turn also in the gold market, but it's not there. So I'm trying to look for key levels to let me go long. We haven't established not a higher low. We haven't broken any key pivot to the high. So once we break this level right here, okay, if we break it and then we turn back and we establish a higher low, then I will be trying to buy. But that's a very long perspective. I think that's good for now. And let's see if we can find some short-term opportunities. So again, my bias is to Euro USD. My bias is to the upside. But we're in that channel, okay? So I need to be prepared for the market to continue down, and I'll start building some long positions. So let's just go ahead and do that. So I'll start small, and on different key levels I'll start building, okay, on just looking at this 1 minute chart, okay, trying to identify those same patterns. Okay, I'll start adding a little bit more as long as we stay above that level, and then if we go down to these levels, then I'll add more. Going back to the 5-minute charts, I'll keep my bullish bias. I'll keep building as we stay below those levels. Back here we had some compression, so there's not a lot of support here, so I'll hold, and then back here I will add again as we go to the lower part of the channel that we're riding. Okay, so okay. See if we can pick one of the take profits. Also, we got news like in 20 minutes, so before the news I expect a little bit of sideways movement, so I'm comfortable building there. So we got 2 there. Now this one I'm happy going out for a break even. I can also take partial losses on that. Just to reduce the exposure a little bit. Okay, we took 2, I took 2 profits there, and I took a little bit of loss in that one because I'm not sure we're going all the way to the tops. Okay, okay, nice turn. If we manage to break that tick right there, that'll be like a little break on the tick chart and we should go all the way to that take profit. Okay, so there's that attempt to break there. Let's see if there's some follow through. Okay, couldn't break it. Okay, now I need to be prepared to a movement down, but a movement down will allow me now that I'm only to half position, okay, half a lot, that will allow me reallocate the little loss I took, okay. Okay, second attempt. Now I'm after one fail, two fail, I'm thinking this is going down. Okay, so if this goes down, I don't need to be panicked. I'm prepared for that. Okay, that's the movement. Now my intent, now my objective with this trade that I've got left is to fix it, okay, because it's not. So how can I fix it? As long as we stay above that line, we say we could, you know, maintain our bullish bias. But the fact that it's a small position, I can, you know, really wait for the bullish pattern to form and then to add, so I can compensate for that trade. Eduardo, gold, 4 hour. Oh, let's finish with this trade and we'll go see. Now there's an attempt to break. There's support there, but we might break it. Now, if I was short, how many times have you been in the short side, okay, trying to catch the breakout and then you get faked out, correct? So I'm gonna try to catch the fake out, and with a little movement to the upside, then I'll fix this trade and I'll make a little bit of money in the process, okay? So you see how market goes down and then the bulls, you know, try to form that. Let me bring the ticks here so we see the formation as well. Okay, attempt to break. Let's see if we break that. Okay, tail. Now the same like we had here and here the tails. Let's see if after this tail there's some continuation to the upside. Now we need first to establish a turn, so a break of that high. Okay, didn't come. So again, I need to reduce my exposure so I can take again partial profits on this little trade. I'm still small, okay, so there's no need for that. But if I was overexposed and I would allocate a lot of money into this trade, I would be scaling out of that second trade, okay? Nice tail. Now give me some continuation. Okay. Now let's take those profits. Let's take one and let's take that one for the break even. There's no need on holding that, okay? And now we're on a well positioned trade that we can try to see if we can make the turn, okay, in the trade. So we're constantly, you see how I constantly allocate my trades, my position. I'm building into trades, I'm fixing some bad trades, I'm adding and I'm reducing, okay? And I'm trying to stay with my best trades at the best entry point. Now I see the conflict. I can't remember when's the. So if we got news, we got time, but I can start feeling the kind of the behavior before that. A lot of indecision of where the market is going. So we see the tail activity on both sides, the bottom and the tops, kind of in expectation of where's that trade going, where's that news going to take us. We are in a channel going down, so there's some compression here. We're consuming our supply. So as long as we stay in that channel, I'm happy, holding my bullish bias, because once we meet nice resistance or nice, there's some resistance there, and if not, we've got some demand. As long as that channel follows that formation towards those areas, most chances, or usually, we'll see a break to the opposite sides, because we grab all this demand, all these buyers, but there's no supply because it has been consumed already. Let's check the 4-hour chart, the Quasimodo on the 4-hour chart. So, Eduardo, if you're speaking of this pivot, yeah, might be okay. There was demand back here, so we are in that demand area where we expect the reaction. We form a new demand. Okay, we see this important movement, okay, being formed, and we did break this pivot, but I guess it is like a minor pivot. I would really like to see a break of these pivots right here or something like that, but you're right, okay, that's a pivot. Technically, that's a pivot, so a pullback towards the demand area and the pivot area should give us the next leg higher. So if this is a setup on the 4-hour chart, this is a valid setup, and a pullback towards that fresh demand just being formed, that's a good opportunity and a good setup to buy from this area and to have your stops down at this area, of course. Okay, nice reading. What's going on with our trade? Not much. Okay, that's really nice bullish activity. Not a lot of continuation, not a lot of follow through. Now targets, it's very tricky because that's the easy target. Okay, above that there will be a lot of resistance there, and that will be the hard target to get. So if I don't want the market to work hard for me and just to give me my profits, that's the area. Okay, you remember my profits were there. Now here we need to be ready for sellers to be active, like last time they were. So if you just want to grab the profit to the bank account and then wait for the next setup, if you're in a small position, well positioned, so we can try to to swing this and to see if we break these levels to the next resistance area, which would be kind of up here. I'm just not very patient, so I'm usually I grab the profits and wait for the next setup. But just that's me. And guys, these same concepts, I apply them to all time frames, and that's what I want you to take, okay? Because the same way I'm building into a position on the 1-minute chart, I build into positions on the daily charts. Okay, so Alex at the office was asking me, why are you buying this area? Okay, there's a lot of sell signals, which is right, but sell signals is what's happening right now. I'm kind of building for the next movement, which I believe it's a bullish movement. So I was building all this area. I was actually building here, and then I kept building, and once I go back to break even for these initial trades, I took them off for break even. I'm currently holding swing long-term trades from this point back here. Okay, that's the idea. Okay, not going anywhere. I'm very inclined to take the profits. Of course, I could bring it there because similar to back time, we had this kind of tails at the top. You need to be prepared for a movement down. So we have same formation to the, the same tails. So I need to be prepared for a movement down now this time. So instead of doing that, I'll just prefer grabbing the profits. And I really think I could go short right now, because prior to the news I expected a lot of this choppiness, but I just don't want to get stuck in a setup during the news. So I'm not sure I'm going to do that. And also look at what I just did, because not grabbing profits, okay, not taking my profits there, I gave up around 3 pips. Okay, I gave up 3 pips because I didn't took my profits. Okay, at the scalp level, at the easy level. Okay, so trying to swing this trade to the next levels cost me 3 pips, unless I was in the money. But after on the trade, still on the trade, but after this movement, we're now seeing the buyers trying to push, but there was the same chance after these movements we saw a retracement, okay, to my break-even area or to my entry level. So I'm a very good scalper and I really prefer to do that. It's just, personality. There's people who are fine just waiting and they have no problem, seeing their trades going up and down. I don't want the market to work hard to make me money. That's me. I find that once I start growing my accounts and going into larger and larger trades and trade accounts, I was just more comfortable taking the easy targets. But that's just me. Marcos, hi, welcome. Lucian, yeah, the preliminary PMI, I don't know. Did you see it somewhere or just I didn't see we have it this week, the preliminary, but usually the final it's already influenced, or people had already positioned themselves based on the preliminary PMI number, because there tends to be a correlation between the preliminary and the final. So the preliminary has a lot of impact, and then the final, unless there's a huge surprise, tends to be more quiet. So that's the takeaway from that. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's the idea. That's the concept. Okay, guys, I think I will not trade anything else. If there's a pair you want us to analyze together or something like that, this is the time to request it. Before we wrap up, I will not go into more scalping right now. Since we have news and I don't like being Okay, guys, I think we had a nice session. we check long-term opportunities and the possible scenarios on the long-term charts. Tomorrow we'll come here and we'll start just training right away, and we'll go through that process. But as always, thanks for coming, and thanks for staying, and yeah, see you tomorrow. Thank you, guys.